चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदं मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागर रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सागरललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी भानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरं गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, thank you everyone for joining. So shall we do second half of Jagannath ji Yatra? I'm hoping I can finish it. I think we can. So let me share the screen. So day one, I covered Tota Gopinath and we went to Jagannath Ji temple. Actually, that, like I said, you know, all this Harinam that we did at the temple and everything, this we did later on, like day 4, I believe. But since it's hard to break it down like that, I just put it on day one. And House of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and Bhajan Kutir and temple that we did. So let's go to House of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So this is again very beautiful, very wonderful place. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, as you know, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri, you know, he came running towards Jagannath Ji deities and he entered straight into the innermost chamber of the temple where the deities are. So like in the Garbhagraha, very close to the deities. And he came running and he was so ecstatic and he fainted. So when he fainted there, all the priests and everyone, you know, they thought he's some kind of you know, intruder and were going to throw him out of the temple. So at that time, this great personality, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, who was a very well-known scholar and renowned throughout the country for his Vedic, you know, Vedantic teachings and all, and many students would come all over the country to learn from him because he was a scholar in Vedanta. Now he was in the impersonal understanding, impersonal Brahman understanding of the Supreme, and in that mood he used to teach. But he was a great philosopher, scholar, and teacher, and he was also a priest there. And so when he saw Mahaprabhu who fainted, he immediately, you know, understood that this person is not some fraud or some you know, something fake. This is a real sannyasi, and he's in real ecstatic mood, and he has gone into this internal consciousness. He's gone into this internal samadhi, and he should not be mistreated. He's somebody, some great personality. So Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya actually took Mahaprabhu to his house, and at that time, in his house came, so when Mahaprabhu is still fainted, right? He's not in external consciousness. At that time, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's brother-in-law came. His brother-in-law's name is Gopinath Acharya. So Gopinath Acharya immediately recognized Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he tried to enlighten Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya about this. He had a very detailed conversation with Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya about Mahaprabhu, about his identity and who he is. But Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya was not, you know, understanding much of this, and he's still in his own understanding, and he thinks himself to be superior at this point of time. So he understood that this is a sannyasi and from Kesha Bharati. So he thought maybe I can upgrade his sannyas. So Gopinath Acharya chastised him. You cannot upgrade Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the topmost. He's whatever he does, he's the supreme. He's topmost. You cannot upgrade his status, his position. So he chastised him and revealed the identity to Sarvabhaum. Gopinath Acharya told Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya that you are like a dry cake without any oil. You only have gyan. So this place is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's house where Mahaprabhu was brought by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And in this place, finally, when Mahaprabhu came to external consciousness, so, then the whole pastime happens where Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya gives him Vedanta teachings for 7 days. And Mahaprabhu patiently listens. So those deities are there where they're sitting and Mahaprabhu is listening. And it is described that even though Mahaprabhu is Mahaprabhu is learning, he's in a disciple mood, but Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya sat on a lower asan than Mahaprabhu because Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi and Sarvabhaum is a grasta. So Sarvabhaum sat on a lower asan. And Mahaprabhu was really impressed with this etiquette. Typically the one who speaks sits on a higher asan. But in this case, Sarvabhaum, who's teaching Mahaprabhu for 7 days, sat on a lower asan. And that those deities are there that you can see. Let me show you. So let's enter into the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. This is the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. You see the two deities. So Mahaprabhu is listening from Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and is sitting on a higher asan. And Mahaprabhu heard from him patiently for 7 days. Look at this picture you can see also in the house, in the same house you see the picture also of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya teaching to Mahaprabhu but sitting on a lower seat. And he taught him Vedanta philosophy for 7 days. And even though Mahaprabhu he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead and nobody can teach him the philosophy, but he still patiently heard everything. And at the end of the 7 days, he told Sarvabhaum, Sarvabhaum was like, when sometimes people don't ask questions in the class, we think maybe they didn't understand anything. So Sarvabhaum thought this person is not asking me any questions. Maybe he did not understand anything. So he asked Mahaprabhu कि कुछ समझे हो या दोबारा बताऊं, कुछ समझ आया या नहीं आया. So Mahaprabhu said, समझ तो सब आ गया, but it feels your teachings are correct, but your teachings are as if the sun is being hidden by the clouds. So you're hiding the sun with the clouds. So the whole light is not coming through. The whole sunshine is not coming through. So your teachings are accurate, but they're covered by this impersonal gyan of yours. So this he conveyed. So Sarvabhaum asked him, what does that mean? And so then Mahaprabhu taught him. And Mahaprabhu, of course, when he taught him, he converted Sarvabhaum from an impersonal jnani to a personal devotee, a bhakta. And he even showed him his Shadbhuj form. So the famous Shadbhuj roop of Mahaprabhu was shown in this house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So you can see this, the Shadbhuj deity also, and you see how Sarvabhaum surrendered to Mahaprabhu in this house. So this Shadbhuj roop is the 2 arms of Lord Ram holding the bow and the arrow, the 2 arms of Krishna holding the flute, and the 2 arms of Gauranga, Mahaprabhu, holding the stick and the kamandalu, the water pot. So then Sarvabhaum said, let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ocean of transcendental mercy, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us detachment, real knowledge, and his own devotional service. So then, Mahaprabhu stayed in this house for some time, and many other pastimes happened. In this house, so you see that this is the external outside of this house, beautiful paintings and artwork on the outside even. This is inside. We had a nice class by His Grace Vishnu Gada Prabhu, a very beautiful class he gave. And this is, again, you see the Shadbhuj form is depicted everywhere. This is again, this is a temple here. And actually, the priest that serves in the temple right now is in the lineage of Gopinath Acharya. So he is a descendant of Gopinath Acharya, like bete ka beta, like that. He's serving the deities here in the temple. It's a beautiful house. Again, you see the Shadbhuj Roop and see all the artwork on in the house. In the house, and then again these deities of Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, where Sarvabhaum is teaching to Mahaprabhu. So then the next day, what happened? So Mahaprabhu made Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya a devotee. Okay. Now, who is Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya in his eternal pastimes? He's Brahaspati. He's the teacher of all the demigods. So he's Brahaspati. And he is, he is taking this position of learning like a disciple of Mahaprabhu in this Gaur Leela. So the next day when Mahaprabhu came to the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, he brought some prasadam, okay? And Sarvabhaum is a priest who is very strict about his cleanliness and everything. So typically he wouldn't accept any prasadam without taking a bath first. But that day, as soon as Mahaprabhu brought the prasadam, he accepted. And Mahaprabhu said, how come you're accepting it today immediately? So Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya said this. He said, one should eat the Mahaprasadam of the Lord immediately upon receiving it. Even though it is dried up, stale, or brought from a distant country, one should consider neither time nor place. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he said, okay, my arrival, the reason of my arrival is fulfilled by making Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, by delivering Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and making him into a devotee. The reason of my incarnation is fulfilled, कि मेरे आने का purpose सफल हो गया basically. And this here in the house is a tunnel. There is a tunnel that goes from the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya and opens into the Sri temple, into the main Jagannath temple. And this tunnel was basically for the purpose of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, because remember, he was a priest. So as soon as he gets ready in the morning, he takes his bath without looking at anybody. Because, if he steps out of the house, the conduct has to be like the conduct was such that he could not.
My bedroom.
He should not be seen by anybody. Like he should not be seen by a dog, and he should not look at any fallen people of this world. So in order to avoid any kind of contamination, so that nobody touches him, because people would want to touch him and embrace and whatnot. So nobody touches him and there is no contamination. He had this tunnel made from his house to Sri Mandir, and he could go directly from here. So we saw this tunnel also. Then let's see what else. This is again the same pictures of the house. Shadbhuj Roop again. There is a picture of this. I don't know what is the significance, but there is a picture of this three-eyed Narsimha in the house that everybody was very fascinated with. So, but anyways, many pastimes have happened here. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya has written the 100 names of Mahaprabhu, which was written by Sarvabhaum himself, and that copy is contained here. We actually saw a copy of Rigved also contained in the house, and all the literature that was written by Sarvabhaum after he was converted to a personalist, after coming in contact with Mahaprabhu, all that literature is also stored in the house. This deity is deity of our Guru Ma. This is Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu that we carry everywhere, and he presides over the Katha and Kirtan in different places of pastimes. Okay, so this was the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Then let's go to the next place. In the same area, house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, then the same area, there is a place called Shwet Ganga. Actually, the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya was renovated by a great lady, a devotee, a Vaishnavi that has come in our tradition. And she was a great preacher. She was a wonderful preacher who had special mercy of Jagannath ji on her. And she renovated the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and her name was Ganga Mata Goswamini. This is about in 1600s when she was given the order by her spiritual master. She was living at Radha Kund in Govardhan. She was living at Radha Kund, and she was given the order by her spiritual master to come to Jagannath Puri and hold classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Bhagavat. And he told her specifically to live in the house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And when she came to this house of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, she found it in very bad state. Actually, it was in a state of disrepair and dilapidated house very badly. And she was alone, and in that time, she did not know what to do. Only thing she knew was to preach about Srimad Bhagavatam. So she would hold open classes on Srimad Bhagavatam in this broken down house, and one or two people will come. Sometimes nobody will come. She would keep giving classes, and slowly people started doing favors. Like someone would say, "Okay, I'll repair this as part of the house." This, but so slowly people started repairing that house, and that Ganga Mata Goswamini was given Kshetra Sannyas. We heard about Kshetra Sannyas this morning, that how you have to live in a particular, in the same Dham for rest of your life after you take sannyas. So Ganga Mata Goswamini was given Kshetra Sannyas by her guru, and she was supposed to live in Jagannath Puri. So one time, all of our disciples and everybody, who used to hear Bhagavatam from her, were going to were going to take a bath in Ganga Ji. And it was some very special occasion that, everybody goes to take bath in Ganga, and they were all going there. And she was feeling left out because she also wanted to go, but she could not leave Jagannath Ji. So then Jagannath Ji came in her dream, and he said, there is this kunda. There was a kunda called Shwet Kunda. This was built by a king many years back, Shwet Raja, kuch naam tha unka, Shwet Raj. And that kunda, he said, I'll fill that kunda with Ganga water, and you can take your bath there. So Jagannath Ji told her that. Then there is a whole pastime. What happened? She went to the Shwet Kund, or which is now known as Shwet Ganga, because Ganga Ji was invited into this kunda by Jagannath Ji himself. So she had special mercy of Jagannath Ji on her. And so when she took bath in the Ganga waters of this Shweta Ganga, she was immediately transported to the Garbhagriha of the Jagannath temple in front of Jagannath deities. And when she reached there, everybody, all the priests, and the Ganga water had carried her there. And all the priests and everybody was completely perplexed. How this lady got into this such close proximity, and things like that. And somehow there was a misunderstanding, and they put her in a jail. They put her in the jail. They thought that she had stolen something from Jagannath Ji, some jewelry or something like that. So they put her in the jail. And this was a great Vaishnava Prad. And suddenly all the pandas and priests and everybody, all those thousands of priests that served Jagannath Ji, they all fell sick. And Jagannath Ji told the king at that time, he told the king that I will only be served by Ganga Mata Goswamini. If she serves me, if she does my worship, then your priest and panda will recover. And not only that, you have to take diksha from her. So the king actually took diksha from her, and in order to correct that Vaishnava aparad that had been committed, they had her do the first worship of the Jagannath Ji that morning. And when Jagannath Ji was pacified, he took diksha from her, and actually further helped her with the repair of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's house. So this is that Shwet Ganga, where where Ganga was invited by Lord Jagannath Ji himself for Ganga Mata Goswamini, who could not go to visit Ganga Ji. And there are the deities there of the Raja from before. I was telling you, there was a kund there, a Shwet Kund, that was built by the king, and his deities are there. Shwet Madhav deity is there in the temple. This is the view from, so you can see the Shwet Ganga down here, and you can see the view of Jagannath Ji from here, so you can see the temple. All these places, Gambhira, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's house, and Shwet Ganga are very close by their walking distance. This is called Ganga Mata Mutt. So the same place, it's called Ganga Mata Mutt in the Puri, and this is Shwet Madhav deities of the king. This is again Shwet Ganga. Okay, before I go to Gambhira, which is very most important for us, I think this Gambhira is probably the most important for us. Anybody would like to add, share anything Abhiram Gopal Prabhu, Nagarjun Prabhu, Anand Kishori Murthy ji. Anybody would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhaam. Sorry Mataji, I have missed your presentation so far. Earlier also, and now also I just joined. So I'm, just gonna hear. But thank you so much for doing it actually.
Well, thank you, Prabhuji, for allowing me to do it and for hearing. But please feel free to make any corrections and any realizations you have, because you've visited all these places and probably multiple times. So please share. Okay, so let's go to Gambhira. So Gambhira, as you know, so Gambhira is the place where Mahaprabhu stayed for maximum of his stay in Jagannath Puri, and this is Kashi Mishra's house. So Kashi Mishra was a priest to the king of Jagannath Puri, and king at that time was Pratap Rudra. So remember we were talking about Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. So Mahaprabhu stayed in that. So Mahaprabhu came to. So this is the line. This is the sequence of events how things happen. That Mahaprabhu stayed in Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's house for some time, and then he went on his South Indian tour. And when he was gone for his South India tour, they were trying to arrange a place for Mahaprabhu to stay. So Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya um, uh, asked Pratap Rudra for help, because Pratap Rudra was a devotee of the Lord and actually wanted to meet Mahaprabhu. And Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya knew that Mahaprabhu will not meet a king, but he still wanted to engage Pratap Rudra in the service. So he said, okay, at least find some place for Mahaprabhu to live where he can spend his rest of the time. So then they decided that he could stay in the house of Kashi Mishra. And Kashi Mishra was the Raj Purohit, the royal priest of King Pratap Rudra. So they decided that Kashi Mishra's house will be perfect for Mahaprabhu to stay for rest of the time. And in this house, there is a room. And again, in those times, the houses were built in such a way that some certain rooms, just similar to temples, they will have a name. So this room was called Gambhira. And I'll show you in a minute, but let's read this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The king replied, Kashi Mishra's house is exactly what you require. It is near the temple and is very secluded, calm and quiet. Okay, so yeah, this is in answer to Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. King said that Kashi Mishra's house will be perfect because it is close to temple and it is also secluded, because Mahaprabhu doesn't want to be in a very crowded, heavily visited place. So this will be nice for him. And so Gambhira, where Mahaprabhu stayed and actually did many of his pastimes and met with so many. This is again Shwetanga, sorry. Okay, Gambhira. So he had many of his pastimes there. He would meet with his intimate associates that would come to visit him, Ramanand Rai, Swarup Damodar Das, and Sikhi Mahiti, and all those Ante Leela of Mahaprabhu, when he had the ecstatic symptoms that are described in Chaitanya Charitamrita towards the end, when Mahaprabhu was completely in this transcendental ecstasy in separation from the Supreme Lord. All those he went through here in this small room, and it's a very small room. In the house of Kashi Mishra was quite big, but Mahaprabhu was staying in this small area in the house. This is the deity of Mahaprabhu there. It's actually, pictures again don't do justice, but the deity is very big, almost, life-size deity of Mahaprabhu there. And this little, I don't know if you can see, but in this cage-like thing, in this enclosure, this enclosure, there are three things that are placed. These are three paraphernalias of Mahaprabhu. One is his water pot, then his kamandalu, the kamandalu, the water pot, and his padukas, his slippers, and his blanket. So three things: his water pot, his padukas, and his blanket. Three things are stored in this little enclosure here. And you can see various, Antya pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was already very tall. You know that Mahaprabhu was almost, 7 feet tall or more, 7.5 feet or so tall. And when he was in his ecstatic mood, when he was in this separation from Krishna, his joints would become loose and very long, actually. He would become even longer. So Chaitanya Charitamrita describes each of his arms and legs had become 3 cubits long. Only skin connected the separated joints. The Lord's body temperature, indicating life, was very low. All the joints in his arms, legs, neck, and waist were separated by at least 6 inches. It would become very low. This is the pastime. Many times we have discussed this. Abhiram Gopal Prabhu has discussed this pastime many times, where Govinda, Mahaprabhu was sleeping at the door to his room, and Govinda had to enter the room to serve Mahaprabhu. So he had no option but to cross over the body of Mahaprabhu, and that's considered an offense because you don't cross over the body of a Vaishnav. And this is Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he had to cross over like that, but he still did it because, as we understand, the service is more important than any aparad. Since he had to serve, he could not interrupt his service, which was very important for Mahaprabhu, so he had to cross over. But then he did not go out, and Mahaprabhu was sleeping for a while. When Mahaprabhu woke up, Govinda's meal time had passed and everything, and he said, why are you still here? So he said, oh, I could not cross over your body to leave. So Mahaprabhu said, but how did you enter? He said, I crossed over your body to enter. So Mahaprabhu said, then why couldn't you cross over my body to leave? So Govinda said that I could not leave because my service was already done. So now there was no reason to cross over your body since the service was already done. So in order to fulfill my service, I could do an aparadh, but I could not do an aparadh for no reason. So this was the great mood of Mahaprabhu's followers. Govinda was the personal servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Um, in this house, this is the outside. I don't know if I have many pictures of inside. Yeah, this is another deity of Mahaprabhu inside. This is where we had again that same day. Vishnu Gada Prabhu gave another class. Actually, Guru Maharaj was a little sick that day, so Vishnu Gada Prabhu was taking us everywhere. So again, another class and Katha, Kirtan there, and very tumultuous Harinam happened. And now you see that Gambhira, this Kashi Mishra's house, is also known as Sri Sri Radhakant Mat. So the deities here are Radhakant deities. Okay. There is a very nice story about the Radhakant deities. Radhakant deities were served by Kashi Mishra throughout his life. He served those deities. Let me see if I have pictures. This is just our congregation attending the class. This is again a picture of the deity of Mahaprabhu, and the three paraphernalia: the kamandalu, the paduka, and the blanket. And okay, and this is okay. These are the deities. So Radhakant's deities in the Kashi Mishra's house. So the deities were served by Kashi Mishra, and these deities belong to actually king's family, Pratap Rudra's family. And Pratap Rudra had acquired these deities from somewhere in south. Okay? But there's a beautiful pastime that happens about these deities. I hope I can convey this nicely. So Pratap Rudra's father, I think his name was Purushottam Dev. Purushottam Dev. He he was supposed to marry the daughter of Kanchi Raj. And Kanchi Raj was a worshipper of Ganesh ji, whereas Purushottam Dev was a worshipper of Jagannath ji, living here in Jagannath Puri. So one time Kanchi Raj visited Purushottam Dev here in Jagannath Puri, and he saw him, sweeping in front of the cart, as is the tradition. The king and so many people, they'll sweep in front of the cart. But when he saw king sweeping in front of Jagannath ji's cart, he thought him to be like like an ordinary person sweeping in front of the cart. He did not like it because he did not understand the mood of serving Jagannath ji. He did not understand the glory of sweeping in front of the cart of Jagannath ji. So he said that I cannot marry my daughter to such an ordinary person like this, who like a common man is sweeping in front of sweeping the streets in front of the cart. So I will not marry my daughter to this king, this so-called king. So he went back on his offer and did not allow the marriage to happen. So Purushottam Dev then declared, this to be an offense against Jagannath ji, and he declared a war on Kanchiraj. Now Kanchiraj had some Ganesh deities that he used to worship, and Purushottam Dev had these Radhakanta deities that he used to worship. So Purushottam Dev told Kanchiraj, if I won this battle, then I'm going to take your Ganesh deities and put them behind my Radha Kanta deities in front of Jagannath temple under the Vat Vriksh. You remember we saw the Vat Vriksh, the Kalpavata, where Markandeya Rishi had collided that Kalpavat Vriksh, and Vat Ganesh is sitting underneath. Those Vat Ganesh deities were brought by Purushottam Dev because he defeated Kanchi Raj. So he defeated Kanchi Raj and he brought those deities of Ganesh ji and he sat them under the the Kalpavata Vriksh in front of the Jagannath Mandir. And in front of Ganesh ji, he put Radha Kanta deities, his own worshipable deities. Just to kind of, put the king down, Kanchiraj down. So for some time they continued like this, the worship continued like this, but then one day Jagannath ji came into the dreams of the king and he said, this now now some time I have heard this story from maybe 3-4 different sources. Some say that this is Radha Kanta deities that did this, and some say it's Sakshi Gopal deities. I've heard more about Radha Kanta deities in our tradition, so I'm just saying this for Radha Kanta deities. So Jagannath ji came into the dream of the king and he said, this Radha Kanta that you have brought to my in front of my temple, they are eating a lot of my bhoga. ये लोग मेरा बहुत सारा भोगा खा जाते हैं, तो इनको यहाँ से हटाओ. मुझे ये राधा कांता नहीं चाहिए अपने मंदिर के सामने. So then king had to move them and he moved them to the house of his Raj Purohit, Kashi Mishra's house. So that's why now we just see the Vat Ganesh under the Kalpata Vriksh and Radhakanta deities in the house of Kashi Mishra since then. So Kashi Mishra was serving them this entire time when Mahaprabhu was also there. And this is the deity of Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru is not in the inner temple of Radhakanta. He's sitting a little bit outside, bahar ka jaise chamber type mein. And he's taken inside on special occasions. जब उनका appearance disappearance day ऐसे कभी उनको अंदर लेके जाते हैं गोपाल गुरु को. So Gopal Guru का की भी बहुत अच्छी story है. He is also a wonderful Vaishnav who used to live in this house of Kashi Mishra, and he used to serve Mahaprabhu through Govinda. Like he would serve under Govinda because he was a child at that time. But the reason he was called Guru, this title of Guru was given by Mahaprabhu to Gopal Guru. The reason is this very famous pastime that happens. What happens is there was a Vaishnav there who used to chant Harinam a lot. Okay, बहुत हरिनाम भजन करते थे. कोई एक वैष्णव थे, कोई हमें नहीं पता उनका नाम, कोई वैष्णव थे, बहुत हरिनाम भजन करते थे. Can I speak in Hindi in between? अभी कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है ना? Okay, yeah. तो वो वैष्णव बहुत हरिनाम भजन करते थे. And one time Gopal saw that when this Vaishnav was going into the bathroom, into the toilet, he did not want to chant the holy name because he thought it will be contaminating to the holy name. So he was holding his tongue between his fingers. अपने फिंगर से टंग को उन्होंने दबाया हुआ था कि कहीं गलती से हरिनाम ना निकलता जाए, क्योंकि उनको इतनी आदत थी वैष्णव को हरिनाम बोलने की. तो गोपाल ने जब ये देखा, so Gopal corrected him. He said, हाथ हटाओ. You can go into the bathroom and chant the Hari name. Holy name is not going to get contaminated by you going into the bathroom. It's more purifying than anything. You can chant when you are sitting. When you are defecating, you can chant Harinam still. So when Mahaprabhu heard him give this instruction, this teaching to this Vaishnav, he was very impressed by that. And Mahaprabhu called everyone and he sat Gopal, because Gopal was a child. He sat him on his lap and he said, he has given this perfect teaching to this Vaishnav. I declare him to be an Acharya. So I call him Guru from now on. So he's from then on, he was known as Gopal Guru. Actually, he became very famous. He used to give discourses and everything. And then again, there are many stories about Gopal Guru also. Again, this is the Radha Kanta deities at Gambhira. This was a picture that we took of something that is written about about Lord Mahaprabhu and Mahamantra in this in Gambhira. So Gambhira, it's a very important place for us. It is actually is considered an ultimate place of aspiration for us, for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because this is where Mahaprabhu performed so many of his wonderful pastimes, especially the Antya Leela, which is very hard for us to understand, but we understand this is where Mahaprabhu had many intimate pastimes with his devotees, and he would hear from Ramanand Rai and Swarup Damodar, and he was getting nourishment. He used to call this his nourishment in the form of Krishna Katha from them. And this is the place where he would, sometimes wander off in the night, and people would go after to find him because he was so much in ecstasy. He would forget where he is and he would wander off. And sometimes he would be found in the ocean, or sometimes he would be found in Jagannath temple in the front of the deities. And Govinda used to guard him, but still. And then Mahaprabhu would sometimes let them control him and become helpless in front of them. So in this way, so many pastimes Mahaprabhu have performed in this house, and it's amazing that Supreme Personality of the biggest thing for us was that Supreme Personality of God had lived in this small 4x4 room. मतलब हम देखो कैसे रहते हैं कितनी ऑपुलेंस में, और महाप्रभु जो कि भगवान है स्वयं कृष्ण, he was living in this small 4x4 room in this house, with no possessions and no property and nothing, and just Hari Naam and just Hari Katha as his only nourishment and his only possession. So a lot to learn here. That was Gambhira. Then we went to that day. We went to Sakshi Gopal. This we went on our own. This was not part of our yatra. We went on our own. Sakshi Gopal की कहानी I think बहुत लोगों को पता होगी, devotees को. How there was this sannyasi, old sannyasi who needed, who wanted to go on a pilgrimage, and so this is a sannyasi, let's say, and he wanted to go on a pilgrimage, and he wanted someone young to accompany him. तो उनको एक यंग आदमी मिला, पंडित था, ब्राह्मण था, लेकिन वो बहुत पुअर था. एंड दिस ओल्ड सन्यासी वाज वेरी रिच, सॉरी नॉट सन्यासी, आई एम सेइंग old man was very rich, but this young Brahman was very poor. But that young man said that I'll go with you on pilgrimage and I'll take good care of you. क्योंकि pilgrimage पे जाना उस टाइम में बहुत austere होता था. So वो उनके साथ चल पड़ा पिलग्रिमेज पे, और उनकी बहुत उसने सेवा की रास्ते में, पूरे रास्ते में उनकी सेवा की, उनका ध्यान रखा, खाने पीने का, हर चीज का. और जब वो वृंदावन जा रहे थे यहाँ से, पुरी से, तो जब वो वृंदावन पहुंचे, नॉट पुरी से बट इस एरिया से, इस उड़ीसा के इस एरिया में से, कटक या जो यहाँ जो भी एरिया था, ये विलेज था, यहाँ से वृंदावन जा रहे थे. तो पूरे रास्ते में उसने, उस यंग ब्राह्मण ने बहुत उनकी सेवा की. जब वो वहां पे पहुंचे वृंदावन में गोपाल डिटीज के सामने, तो ये जो ओल्ड मैन थे, बूढ़ा आदमी थे, ये बहुत, ही वाज वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड विद द सर्विस ऑफ दिस यंग ब्राह्मण, and he said, I want to give you something for this service. He said, I want to give you something. So the young Brahman said that, you don't have to give me anything, you're like my father. But the old man said, no, I feel so obliged to you that you accompanied me on my pilgrimage and took care of me like my own son. I want to really give you something. How about if I have a young daughter, how about if I marry her to you? Well, would you accept her? So the young man said, you really don't have to do this. I will accept her, of course, but I'm not sure if your family would approve, because, I'm very poor and your family may not approve of that. You're very rich. And you are giving me this promise in front of Gopal deities, in front of the deities, you're making a promise. Maybe this is not appropriate. So, but the old man was very sure of himself. He said, no, in front of the deities, I give you this promise that I'll marry my daughter to you. And in this way, he in due time, he came back to his house, and he, as the young man had suspected, when the old man brought up this topic with his family, the family, his wife and his kids, they did not approve, they did not agree that, that young Brahman is very, very poor. How can you give our sister? The wife said, how can you give my daughter to this poor guy? This is, you did not even consult with us, you just gave him the promise. Just forget about the promise. So just don't reach out, just don't say anything to him. So he did not say anything. But the young man, he was worried that we had made this vow in front of the deity, and something inauspicious will happen if this vow is not kept. It's not like he was, very greedy for marriage or anything, but he wanted this vow to be kept for the for keeping, for the respect of the deities and for keeping this promise that they had made in front of the deities. So he approached the old man. He came to their house, but they all just disrespected him and turned him out. So the young man then approached the village authorities, jo bhi panchayat, yeah, the authorities in the village. And they said that, how can you prove that there was any promise like this made? Did anyone see you? Was there anybody that was a witness to this promise? So he said, yes, the deities, Gopal deities were a witness to my promise. So you can ask them. He said, okay, then bring the deities, and if they prove that this promise had been made in front of them, then we will agree to this marriage. So then he went to Vrindavan and he spoke to Gopalji, the deities, and Gopalji said, I'm just a deity. I cannot come. I cannot come with you. I know that this promise was made. So young man said, if you can speak to me, you can also come with me. So Gopalji said, okay, good point. So then I have a condition. I'll come with you, but I'll walk behind you. You will walk in front, and you cannot look back. If you look back to check if I'm coming, if you try to look back, then I'll stop where I am and I will not move any further. So young man said, okay, done, promise you. I will not look back. You just follow me to my village. So he started walking in the front, and village and the DT was walking in the back. And young man knew that Gopalji is walking in the back because he could hear the sound of his anklets. So as they reached the village, close to the village, there was a lot of like sandy beach, sandy area. So in that sandy area, he could not hear the sound of the anklet anymore. And he thought maybe Gopalji is not following me anymore. And he was overcome by the temptation to look, and he looked behind. And when he looked behind, of course, he had broken the promise. So Gopalji was fixed there and would not move any further. But regardless, his purpose had been served because they were very close to the village. And so he called all the village people, the authorities, and he said, look, the Gopal deity has come. And they knew that this such a wonderful opulent deity of Gopalji, and it's a very tall deity. You see, the Gopalji deity is very tall, very big, opulent deity. This has never been seen before. So if he has come all the way from Vrindavan here, then that means he's serving as a witness to the promise. So the old Brahman, his family, they all agreed that this is, Gopal himself has become Sakshi to this vachan, this promise that was given. So we cannot break this promise, and they agreed for the marriage. And then, of course, the temple was built around the deity. And so this is the Sakshi Gopal deity there. This is Sakshi Gopal temple. It was very crowded the day when we went. This is the outside of the temple, the Sakshi Gopal temple. Very beautiful temple. All the temples were very beautiful. Even to just look, the architecture, the colors, everything in the so many of these nice these line that guard the door, and garudas, and they're very beautiful, the stambas, columns. But Sakshi Gopal deity was really mesmerizing. And it's amazing how the priests there, when you go, they will always give at least 2 or 3 of them, they give the benediction of that you get Krishna Bhakti. That's all they keep saying. May you get Krishna Bhakti. So that's the only benediction one needs. So that was a few of the places. Gambhira, so we talked about Gambhira, we talked about how Bhattacharya, Shwet Ganga, and Sakshi Gopal. And so then the next day, Gundicha. Gundicha temple was closed. So we could not, it's been closed for renovation, but look at how beautiful this temple is. And if you remember, Gundicha temple is a temple that to which the Rath goes. So Rath goes from Sri Mandir to Gundicha Mandir. So it is described that the Sri Mandir, the Jagannath temple, is like Dwarka basically, or Kurukshetra, and Gundicha temple is like the Vrindavan. And so Jagannath temple is in the Nilachal. It's in the Nil Sagar, the blue ocean, and there is Nil Chakra there, and the Nil Madhav deities were there. And so that represents Dwarka. But Gundicha represents Vrindavan, Sundrachal. Sundrachal means beautiful. Sundar means beautiful. So it represents Sundrachal. And this is where the Rath comes to. We got, I don't know if I have a picture, but we did a little bit of marginum outside the temple that day. It just happened. So the guard was telling us that the temple is closed for last 4 years for renovation, and only the lordships are allowed in the temple when they come for after the chariot ride, but nobody else can go. But it just happened that we were standing talking to the guard, and this man came with a broom and water pot to clean. So so that was like the perfect opportunity. I'm like, okay, what else do you need to do at Gundicha temple but to clean? And so I was reminded of the Gundicha Marjanam pastime of Mahaprabhu, who cleaned. So we all took turns to clean the temple. And the guard mercifully brought us water and brooms to clean. So I'll not go into Gundicha Marjanam pastime. We discussed this, I think, last year in detail, very, very big detail. So in brief, Gundicha Marjanam means cleaning of the temple. So since lordships are coming there, they're coming to this temple and they're going to stay there for 2 weeks. The temple is cleaned by the devotees, and Mahaprabhu started this wonderful tradition of cleaning the temple with all his followers. And in great detail, they cleaned, and this whole cleaning of the temple of Gundicha temple is very beautifully described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. All the wonderful pastime, because it's an important service, cleaning of the temple, Sohini Seva, and how they did that service while still enjoying themselves and while having fun, while still doing Hari Kirtan, Hari Nam, and still paying attention to the details while cleaning. They had so much fun, and all that is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's basically, you can think of Radharani and gopis cleaning the Vrindavan, cleaning the house, because Krishna is coming. So Krishna is coming the next day. So the day before Jagannath is supposed to arrive, all the devotees will clean the temple in anticipation of the three lords coming there. So this verse says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washed and cleansed the Gundicha temple with his devotees and associates. In this way, he made it as cool and bright as his own heart. And thus he made the temple, it says, a befitting. So basically, a befitting place for Lord to enter. And this again, yeah, this is a couple of our devotees cleaning the temple, cleaning the outside, the courtyard of the Gundicha. Okay, so close to Gundicha temple is Indradyumna Sarovar. Indradyumna Maharaj, as you know, is the most important devotee why we have the how the Jagannath deities manifested. He found the logs he did a lot. He was in search of Neel Madhav deities, and Neel Madhav deities had disappeared. Then he sat in meditation, and Naradji came, and Lord Shiva gave him some orders. He did 1,000 Ashwamedh Yagyas, and then he was given the instruction that the 3 logs will appear in the ocean, and out of those 3 logs, Vishwakarma will make the deities, and then the whole pastime, how the deities were carved, and Indradyumna Maharaj was not supposed to open the door of the room in which the Vishwakarma was carving the deities, but he was also overcome with temptation and opened the door. And so it is said that the deities are half done, they're not completely done. But Narad Muni told him that this is the complete form of the Lord. This is the form that I saw in another age manifested to me. So it's not incomplete. The deities are complete and you can install them. So at that time, Indradyumna Maharaj went to Brahmaji to bring him to perform the installation of the deities. And a lot of time passed, and his wife Gundicha was still waiting on the earth while Indradyumna Maharaj went for like a few minutes to Brahmaji's lok, Brahma lok. So then when he came back, they installed the deities, and when they installed the deities, he donated thousands of cows, and it is said that Indradyumna Sarovar is made of the mutra, the urine, and the water, Abhishek water, that was used for the installation of the deities at the time. So Prabhuji is asking, is he the same king who was Gajendra in the next life? I don't think so, Prabhuji. I believe that was a different king. Indradyumna Maharaj is famous for manifesting Jagannath deities for us. I don't know the name of the king that Gajendra used to be in his previous life. I can't remember the name. but I don't believe it's Indradyumna Maharaj. So, so this big sarovar, this pond, this lake was made by all those cows' urine and the Abhishek water that flew when when the Jagannath deities were installed. So this is Indradyumna Sarovar. And actually, Mahaprabhu and his associates have performed a lot of pastimes in this Sarovar. In this one, and there is one more Sarovar in which he has performed pastime. We couldn't go to that one. That's called Narendra Sarovar. I told you this morning there are 5 Panchatirthas in Jagannathji. One is this Indradyumna Sarovar. The other is Shwet Ganga that you saw before. Then there is Rohini Kund. Then there is Ocean, Mahodadi. Ocean is called Mahodadi. In Ocean also Mahaprabhu's pastimes have happened. And then there is, I don't know which all I mentioned. One more is there. Indradyumna Sarovar, Rohini Kund, Markande Sarovar. Markande Sarovar I showed you this morning, I think. So this is Indradyumna Sarovar. We went early mornings. It was very foggy. Oh yeah, this is the Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Indradyumna Sarovar. So there were many gardens near the Gundicha temple, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees used to perform the pastimes of Vrindavan in each of them. In the lake named Indradyumna, he sported in the water. So this is coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. And then there are 2 temples there, 2 principal temples. One is Sri Neelkantha Mahadev temple. So this is the Shivji that had appeared to Indradyumna Maharaj and had given him instructions on what to do next. You know, he would sit in worship, and he was given instructions by Lord Shiva. And then this is Indradyumna temple. There is also Gundicha, this Gundicha Rani. Like the main Gundicha temple is, of course, the one I showed you before, but just a little temple. We could not get into any of these temples here. They were all closed in the morning, and they were not part of our yatras. But this is the beautiful Indradyumna Sarovar. Okay, Siddha Bakul. Okay, so again, before I go on, anybody else wants to share anything? We are coming to a very, very wonderful place called Siddha Bakul. Okay, so Siddha Bakul, as you know, is the place where Haridas Thakur used to sit and chant his 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he would sit and chant there the 300,000 names of the Lord. And this is where Mahaprabhu would come and visit him and hear his chanting. And this is where Roop and Sanatan Goswami have stayed with Haridas Thakur. And this is where Haridas Thakur passed and left his body. So this is a place, this is a tree. And the story of the tree is that Mahaprabhu had given Haridas Thakur datun, like datun ko kya bolenge? A toothbrush made of a tree root. And it was a bakul tree's root. So he had offered this toothbrush of Lord Jagannath to Haridas. So he had brought it as a gift, as a twig of bakul tree, which is used as the toothbrush of Jagannath ji, So that twig Mahaprabhu had brought to Haridas Thakur, and Mahaprabhu planted this twig in the ground where Haridas Thakur used to stay. And within a few days, this twig, because this twig is like Mahaprasadam, this Mahaprasadam twig had grown very quickly into a very, very large tree. Very, very large tree. And that tree is still there. And it is said that it was a bakul tree, and it became siddh. It became perfect. It perfected its life by hearing the Harinam of Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur would sit under it and chant so many rounds, and so many people would come and hear his chanting like that. So this is the tree you can see in the back here. And this is Haridas Thakur chanting. This is the deity of Haridas Thakur and Mahaprabhu sitting there. So you see the tree. It's people have tied many things there. It is said that you can embrace the tree. So we did embrace the tree, and the tree is completely hollow from inside. So it's amazing that how this tree is completely hollow, but it's staying there. It's sustaining itself. It's still, and it has all these. You can see all the leaves, all the fresh leaves, how it is possible to have fresh leaves at the branches when the tree is completely hollow from inside. So it's just inconceivable. This verse says, one day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Haridas Thakur as usual. In the course of discussion, he inquired as follows. This is a couple of deities there at Siddhabakul. Again at Siddha, and this is us embracing the tree. So the only thing to ask here in Siddhabakul is to develop taste for Harinam. So that's what we asked for, to give us taste for chanting holy names of the Lord, just like Haridas Thakur. This is the pastime where when Mahaprabhu entered into this place of Haridas Thakur's residence, and he saw that there was a verse pasted on the wall. The verse was written by Rup Goswami, and this verse had been chanted by Mahaprabhu the day before in Rath Yatra. And Mahaprabhu thought nobody understood the meaning of this verse, but now he saw that Rup Goswami has interpreted the meaning and understood it, and he has pasted it on the wall. So he was reading it, and he was completely surprised how Rupa understood this verse. So when Rupa saw and came and saw that Mahaprabhu has seen that he understands the verse, he fell down Dandvat Pranam to Mahaprabhu as a gesture of apology. And the famous verse is the one where Radharani is saying that you are the same Krishna, I'm the same Radharani. You are now again my master. This is the same full moon nights of Chaitra. The same fragrance of Malti flowers is there. The same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. I'm also the same lover, yet my mind is not happy here. I'm very eager to go back to that place on the bank of Reva under the Betasi tree. That is my desire. So Mahaprabhu would sing this verse in the mood of Radharani in front of Jagannath ji, because he wants to take Jagannath, who's Krishna, to Vrindavan. So he did not think that anybody except his intimate associates Swarup Damodar would have understood this verse, but seems like Rup Goswami had understood this verse, and he was very surprised at that. This is the deity of Mahaprabhu, and this is actually Rup and Sanatan Goswami, and there was I don't have all the pictures somehow. I think, oh yeah, some in the temple the pictures were not allowed, so I did not take pictures of the deities there actually. But this is the place where Rup Goswami composed his Lalit Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav under this tree in front of Mahaprabhu and his followers. And Sanatan Goswami also lived here with Haridas Thakur, and all their discussions, how Sanatan and Haridas Thakur would talk, the various things they would talk about, all those are mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is the place where Thakur Haridas left his body, and holding his body in his arms, Mahaprabhu danced on the beach. So it's very close to the beach, and Mahaprabhu led that ecstatic kirtan procession towards the ocean, dancing with Haridas Thakur's body in his arms. And you know that Haridas Thakur, of course, you know that he was born in Muslim family, so he could not go into Jagannath Ji temple, and he never tried to. He never, thought himself fit to go into the temple. Nor did Rup and Sanatana Goswami. This is Sun Temple. This is not very important for our tradition, so I'll just show you the pictures. It's a beautiful piece of heritage of Indian, culture and tradition. It has a beautiful history. Actually, it was built by Samba, who is, as we know, is son of Krishna from Jambavati. So Samba had built this temple for the worship of sun god. And the way this temple is built is very beautiful. There was no cement in that time, so they had put iron plates between the stones, and there used to be a magnet in the big dome. There used to be a magnet that would hold those iron plates together, and that's how the stones will be held together. Because so in between stones there were iron plates, and magnet is holding the iron plates together. So that's how the stone will be held together. But then many invaders, looted the temple, and they stole this magnet. And if the magnet is gone, it's not possible for the stones to stay together anymore, right? Because there is no cement. So this temple started falling apart. The deity fell apart, and sun deity, when that fell apart, the worship was stopped of sun god. And so this temple, here is where the big magnet, giant magnet used to be, and now the whole temple is filled with debris. Actually, Britishers, it is said that they actually tried to preserve the temple by filling it with debris, because if they did not support it from inside, the whole temple would have collapsed very quickly. This is the sundial and how people used to tell time in those days, by the shadow of so the sun would fall on this rod, and you could see the length of the rod and tell the time through the sundial. It's in the form of a chariot, so there are horses on each side. Okay, Dandabhanga. This was the most beautiful place. I don't know if Navya is in the call, but she loved it. This was, I think, for me also, because when we were discussing later, which was your best place to visit, I think unanimously we agreed that Dandabhanga was the best. This was, I would say, like the best kept secret of Jagannath Puri. It was so serene, so beautiful. The ambience there, the nature, the landscape, and we had wonderful class. We had like a really long class. Oh, and the DTs. This is a DT. This DT, everybody just fell in love. This is a DT of Radha Krishna, you see, and such color of Krishna has never been seen in almost any temple in the world. So, but going back to Dandabhanga, what does Dandabhanga means? So Dandabhanga is the place where Nityanand Prabhu broke the danda, the sannyas rod of Mahaprabhu. So, and again, very quickly, it's a little bit difficult to understand, but as you know that sannyasis are supposed to carry when they get the sannyas in the initial stages of sannyas, they carry the danda, the rod, sannyas rod, which is it's a regulative principle for sannyasi to carry the rod, because it depicts their surrender through body, mind, and words to the Lord. And Mahaprabhu was going towards Jagannath Puri with Nityanand Prabhu and other associates. And on the way, Mahaprabhu stepped away to visit, I think, one of the Shivji's temple nearby. And he said, "I'll come back in a few minutes. Just hold my danda for a minute." So he gave the danda to Nityanand Prabhu. And Nityanand Prabhu, he's a Avadhut. He's completely in love with Krishna and a transcendental madman. He broke the danda and into three pieces and threw it into the river there. And when Mahaprabhu came back, he said, "Okay, somebody such and such fell on your danda and it broke, and we threw it away." So when Mahaprabhu heard this, he was very angry. He said, "Why did you do that?" So he said, "Don't you know that in the danda of sannyasi live all the demigods? This was my only possession. My only possession now after sannyas is my danda, and you broke it." So he said, so of course, it's described that Nityanand Prabhu's basically thought process here is that that Mahaprabhu is supreme personality of Godhead, and it's enough that he's taking sannyas when he's the proprietor, maintainer, controller, cause of all causes. He does not need to take sannyas. He's the proprietor of everything. Everything is his property. So what does he mean that this danda is my only property? And he does not need to follow any regulative principles. So even though he has taken sannyas, he does not need to follow regulative principles like ordinary people. And he does not need to show anyone that this is my only property and things like that. So he basically, in his, extreme love for Supreme Lord, not he he's trying to show that Supreme Lord is above and beyond these regulative principles, which are meant for ordinary people. They need to follow this, but he owns actually everything in this whole universe. Everything is his property, so he does not need to follow these regulative principles. So in that mood, he broke the danda. But this place is called Dandabhanga, where this wonderful pastime happens, and there are many beautiful deities here. This is the deity of I don't think there was any different names. It's Radha Krishna deities. And this is, of course, Prabhupada, and this is His Holiness Gaur Gopal Maharaj. Yeah. So Dandabhanga, so this was like a little, in a little village of Chandanpura. Yeah, it's in the village of Chandanpura. This is again the deities there, the small deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, the big deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and the small Shadbhuj Roop of Mahaprabhu. Again, some pictures. Sorry, this is, wait, did I show you Gaur Gobind Maharaj deities? Yeah, so this is Prabhupada and His Holiness Gaur Gobind Maharaj. You know, he's a disciple of Prabhupada, was born in Orissa and very stalwart disciple of Prabhupada. Again, more pictures. Shadbhuj Roop. This is the beautiful place of Dandbhanga there. See the river in which the Danda was thrown. And this was our group picture there. Okay, so I thought Dandbhanga was very beautiful, especially the deities there, the royal blue color of Krishna. It's almost never seen. We see either the black color or the white color, or you know, with this type of royal blue color, and even Radha Rani's color. If you see, it's a golden complexion in these deities. See, golden complexion. So, and they're very tall, very tall, like more than life size deities, more than life size probably. Okay, last day, and try to wrap up quickly. So of course we did Harinam at the ocean. So this ocean is one of the Panch Tirthas. It's called Mahodadi, and many times Mahaprabhu would wander into the ocean. And this pastime depicts here that a fisherman caught him thinking that he's caught a big fish, and it was Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu would run into the ocean thinking that this is Yamuna. So the ocean is also very glorious. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bathed the body of Haridas Thakur in the sea and then declared from this day on, the sea has become a great pilgrimage site. So here Mahaprabhu danced on the ocean from holding the body of Haridas Thakur in his hands and bathed his body with the ocean water. And that's why it's a pilgrimage. Haridas Thakur was the crown jewel on the head of this world. Without him, this world is now bereft of its valuable jewel. So this is Mahaprabhu dancing with the body of Haridas Thakur. And then we went to Haridas Thakur's Samadhi. So we did Harinam Kirtan on the beach and then walked towards the Samadhi Mandir of Haridas Thakur. This is the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur. This is again the Samadhi of Haridas Thakur there. And then there are deities of Nityanand Prabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and Advaita Acharya there. Again, this is the Sri Haridas Thakur Samadhi. More pictures. We had again, you know, Katha, Kirtan, everything here. And finally, okay, this is still Haridas Thakur Samadhi. So this is the place, you know, Haridas Thakur's Samadhi is the place where we can pray. You know, how to leave the body, that we should be in complete consciousness of Krishna, be chanting the Naam Bhajan till the last minute. And the death, you know, was so glorious. Haridas Thakur's leaving was so glorious. Just like we remembered the leaving of Bhishma Pitama or Prabhupada, so glorious that till the end they were engaged completely in Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead, and you can see that their life is perfect. Then we went to the ISKCON temple. So this is these are the deities there of Sri Sri Radha Giridhari and Sriman Mahaprabhu. So this is Mahaprabhu and Radha Giridhari. Very beautiful deities. We again did a lot of kirtan there, class there. This is Prabhupada and Bhakti Vinod Thakur sitting opposite the Radha Giridhari deities. This is the hall, temple hall of ISKCON there. Okay, I think that's it. I already showed you pictures of Harinam and Jagannath Puri, but I think the highlight of our trip was these last few places were very wonderful. Of course, Jagannath Ji temple is amazing, no doubt. There are so many stories, so much history, so much pastimes, so much relevance. But most importantly for us, the relevance is wherever Mahaprabhu has done his pastimes with his associates, you know. Siddha Bakul, Dandabhanga, Gambhira, House of Sarbham Bhattacharya. I thought those places were very wonderful. So I'll stop here. We have exceeded the time also. Would anybody like to share anything? Nagarchand Prabhu, would you like to say anything? Or anyone has any questions? Let's see. Anand Kishori Mataji or Biram Gopal Prabhu, would you like to share something about these places? So who wants to go to Jagannath Puri who has not gone there yet? I can't hear anyone.
Yes, Mataji, it was very beautiful. Yeah, I certainly want to go. I have not gone yet, but yeah, I'm seeing through your pictures, your eyes. So it was beautiful.
Very good. Yes, Prabhuji. I don't know if you
Hare
will.
Krishna.
Yes, Nagarjuna Prabhu.
Yes, I was just saying that these pastime places are so wonderful, and the other beauty is that we didn't grow up in, at least in Delhi, that knowing about the pastimes of Lord Gauranga, and just got to know recently. But we go to these places and we meet so many people for whom the names of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, all these associates of Mahaprabhu, it's like just knowing about, just like just like we know about Krishna and Sudama
Second
and
nature to them, yeah.
Putna. Yeah, it's just very regular to them, and it's just that we were, this is a hidden avatar, so we not everybody is complicit to it, to the knowledge. And I think it's nice that we can get to know more about this most it's Audarya avatar, and get more and more mercy. And unless I think it's really important that we understand, which Nārangi Devi always says, that we have to we have to, before seeing the Dham, you have to hear about the Dham. You have to take darshan of the Dham through the ears first, then the eyes. And that is really important, because otherwise we just go to a place, and it's just like another tourist spot. You'll have some bhav, and you'll get the benefit of being to the Dham partially, but to maximize the benefit is if we can hear about the Dham and then go and associate with the devotees over there. So that's like making the maximum, getting the maximum sale. We try to always bargain and get the best bargain. This is the best bargain. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for such beautiful presentation. It was very nice, comprehensive, very nice pictures, very nice pastimes you shared. Uh, and that too, you did it quite timely. You guys just came, and within a few days you shared. That's very nice. We were just very encouraged and inspired to see that, because when we came back we got so busy, and even though there were few memories, we could not really reflect back. And after hearing your presentation, it took me back to those memories when we were there. So it was very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you everyone for sharing. One thing beautiful that I forgot to mention from Haridas Thakur Samadhi. So it said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come here daily, even after the disappearance of Srila Haridas Thakur. He would take bath in the ocean, then come and sit in front of Haridas Thakur Samadhi, offer prasadam to the Samadhi, and do Nam Bhajan for some time. So all the deities at the Samadhi are in the sitting posture doing Nam Bhajan at the Samadhi. If you saw all the three deities, they were in Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and Mahaprabhu. They were all in sitting posture and doing Nam Bhajan. One other realization I'll share. This is something that I came up with. So A, B, C, D, E, right? We always say. So A means association. So I thought that the place that represents the benefit of taking association of Guru Vaishnav Bhagwan is the house of Sarbham Bhattacharya. So in this place, when we go, we should pray that we get the maximum association of Guru, Vaishnav, and Bhagwan, because this is the place where an impersonal Jnani, became a personal devotee. Sarbham Bhattacharya was delivered. So, and that was all due to direct association of Guru Vaishnava Bhagwan. So association I think is exemplified in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. B for books. So I think that's exemplified in Tota Gopinath, where we should pray for the taste of Srimad Bhagavatam, just like how Gadadhar Pandit and Mahaprabhu used to read Srimad Bhagavatam for hours together. So in Tota Gopinath, we should pray for taste in the books of Srimad Bhagavatam. C for chanting, of course, that's exemplified in Siddha Bakul, where Haridas Thakur would chant his 192 rounds under the Bakul tree. So we should pray there for taste of holy names. D for deity worship, I think that's exemplified in Jagannath temple, where the priests do such opulent worship of Jagannathji deities. And we should pray for be able to develop taste in the deity worship as well. And remember that Krishna is standing there waiting in separation from us. Just like he says in Bhagavad Gita over and over again, that I'm waiting for you and you need to come back to me. So deity is waiting. So we should do deity worship like in that mood of opulence. And E is for entering Dhaam. So I thought that was exemplified in Chatak Parvat and Yameshwar Tota, where Mahaprabhu would enter these places thinking that these are Vrindavan. So we should enter the Dhaam. We should make every, our home and every temple, everything like Dhaam, and try to visit these temples and these Dhams in this mood, with this separation from them, from separation from temple, from Dham, just like Mahaprabhu was in separation from Vrindavan and would run towards Chatak Parvat with this separation that he's running towards Giri Govardhan. Similarly, we should go towards temples and Dhams in separation, that we are, separated from Vrindavan and enter the Dham in that mode of separation from them. Then after ABCDE, I thought the most important for sadhakas is to follow regulative principles. I thought that was exemplified in Dandabhanga, where Nityanand Prabhu is basically telling us that it's not the Supreme Lord who needs to follow the regulative principles, but us, the ordinary jivas that have taken these vows, we need to follow the regulative principles. So we should, at this place, we should pray that may we, be able to follow and the regulative principles and keep our vows made to the Guru. It's not for Supreme Lord to follow, it's for us to follow these vows. And then I thought how to live and how to leave. How to leave is exemplified in Haridas Thakur Samadhi, that this should be the death. If somebody leaves, that the Supreme Lord is carrying you in his arms, and just like Lord Ram did the last rites of Jatayu, and this is the way to leave. And then how to live is exemplified in the Bhajan Kutir of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, which shows that we should follow in the footsteps of Acharya. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, they all did their Naam Bhajan there. They would meet in association of devotees there. They would read there. They would do deity worship there, everything. So all that is following the footsteps of Acharya. That's how we should live. So just some of my realizations of A, B, C, D, E, and how different places exemplify those and what we should pray in these different places. Okay, I think we can stop here. Anybody else wants to share
That was very nice, Mataji. ABCD was very nice. So this is your realization, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, I was writing
beautiful,
it.
Beautiful.
I was just thinking what should we pray at each place for?
Mataji, have you recorded this? Because I wasn't able to watch the whole thing. My phone battery died. But have you recorded it? Can I look it on the
Yes,
YouTube?
Mataji. Yes, I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Please share in the group for the morning also and this also. I missed the morning one.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was there in the morning for a little bit, for half hour.
Okay. Yes, Mataji, I'll share. Okay, so we'll stop. Thank you everyone for joining. Vancha kaltarubhischa kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namo namaha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.